Lazio have had a second player sent off. The fans are not happy.
Ladies and gents, welcome to episode 2 of Rise Football Italia. Me and the trusty red Jeep are here, or we have been, up and down the mountains for the past hour or so. If you saw episode 1, we were in Parma, watching Parma v Lazio. I've literally been eating some Parma cheese on the way here, but I had to stop. Look at this stunning view. It's been like this for the past, like I said, about an hour. Now we are off to Florence to see sexy, beautiful Florence, and also go to the city of Florence as well. And they tell me it's one of the most beautiful cities in Italy, but I think I'm already experiencing some of the Italian beauty on the way there. Ladies and gents, here we go. I'm afraid I've not got my Gazzetta dello Sport pink newspaper, but I'm going to find one for a throwback. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, for football adventures, exploring not just beautiful scenery, but beautiful Calcio Italiano. Football Italia, let's bloody go. Okay, so the Jeep safely parked up. Lovely Battistuta shirt on display. 30 euros though. But I wasn't taking any chances because everywhere, every single side street near the stadium has a picture of a tow truck. So we won't be able to get to the next game if we get clamped and towed. Let's get to the stadium early. Let's check it out. I did pass it. I did see a little glimpse, the stalls. We need a scarf as well. All right, I need Google Maps.
Apri la porta a un guerriero di carta igienica e dammi.
Guys, for those floodlight freaks, those that get a real kick at seeing floodlights, that bridge is incredible. What a view. I'm such a bloody tourist. The first stand, I'll buy a scarf. The second caravan thing stand, I'll buy a port roll, a port bap, and a beer. They put it in a Beck's cup, but they assured me it was an Italian beer, but they had no local beer. That was from Sardinia. The beer was good. The pork roll thing was beautiful, and I'm going to look even more disloyal when I go to Bologna later because I think there's a bit of rivalry between the two clubs, but no rivalry today because the two clubs that are playing today, they're playing against Hellas Verona, and they have a bit of a friendship, I think, as far as I've read anyway. That's what ChatGPT told me. Well, I'm going this way. Let's go back around the front. So will there be a display for the friendship? Who knows? So I really did want to try and taste a little bit of each place I've been to. Food, obviously. Now, 3 of those food wagons had the pork roll being sold. So I'm hoping that is a traditional taste of Florence, even though it's not called Florence. In Italian, it's called, there we go. In terms of the stadium from the outside, I'm going to be honest with you, it does look a little gritty. The stereotype of Italian football stadiums generally being quite run down and old. Slightly edgy. Hang on. No. What am I talking about? That's not the ground. That is not the ground. What am I talking about? That's not the ground. That's the bloody ground. Jesus Christ, I've only had the one beer, I swear. This is more like it. This actually looks, from the outside, a little bit like the Ruhrstadion, the home of my club, Bochum in Germany. You've got the external exposed steps, something you never see in English football stadiums. Of course, you've got the internal concourse areas in England. Very old school floodlights. Again, those kinky floodlight lovers. And I should have done my research, so I'll put on screen now what that stadium there was used for, or what it is used for.
In my life, there's been heartache and pain. I don't know if I can face it again. Can't stop now. I've traveled so far to change this lonely life. I wanna know what love is. I want you to show me. I wanna feel what love is. I know you can show me.
So I used to do loads of research before coming to the grounds, so I've let myself down a little bit, but I prefer to live in the moment and I prefer to learn whilst doing it naturally with you guys on camera, so I hope you're okay with this. We can put some facts in retrospectively. Right then guys, so I am going to make another video which is going to be a little bit more in-depth on the history of both Fiorentina and some of the other clubs we visited on this Italian football weekend. But just some basic facts, of course. Even if you were to browse the Wikipedia page, they'd have their founding as 1926. However, like many clubs, it came off the back of a merger. Now, technically, the club, again, similar to Parma, is a new entity that was refounded in August of 2002 following bankruptcy. As we know, Italian football has suffered in more recent years. You can see that evident in the stadium. I will go to the toilets in a moment, and not one single toilet you could close the door and have a poo in peace. I couldn't even get them to flush either. Obviously, I'm talking about their ground called Stadio Artemio Franchi. I'm really sorry again for the pronunciations. I couldn't give you the capacity for the stadium as it is at the moment because, of course, they're having renovations done. So we can't criticise too much because a lot of these Italian football stadiums are basically being renovated, which is a good thing. Right, guys, I thought I was being tactical. I got my plan all wrong. Here we go, row 17, the last one, number 30. Whoa. And this is the view. Unless I've already said, guys, I only had a couple hours sleep last night because I was up all night editing yesterday's video. So I'm not really with it today. I've got a bit of man flu as well, but no excuses. I booked these tickets thinking they were fairly close to the Ultras curve, but not too close because obviously I don't want to film them. But I'm right by, if I flip the camera around, I'm right by the new stand. As I completely forgot this morning, all these old Italian stadiums are being completely redeveloped. A little bit like in Germany where the curves are being knocked down and they're building stands a little bit closer to the pitch. This is the case here for Fiorentina. I guess similar to maybe Preußen and Münster in Germany, they'll probably start work on that one afterwards, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. But the history, again, those 90s, Football Italia, Brits, those 90s kids will remember players like Batistuta scoring numerous goals. Or the more recent British fans of Italian football might remember Micah Richards. Now, a couple of facts. Fiorentina is one of 15 European teams that have played in the finals of all three major continental competitions. I'm talking about the European Cup / Champions League, the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup, and the UEFA Cup / Europa League. Now, they've won the Italian League 2 times, in the 55-56 season and again in 68-69. mentioned when we were in Parma in the 90s, they were one of the Seven Sisters. Of course, they've fallen. At the moment, this game isn't just intriguing because of the friendship between both clubs. Both of these clubs in today's game sit bottom of the table, the bottom two of Serie A. Now, considering Parma just above them and they lost yesterday, this is an even more important game and one that you've got to put friendship to one side at because it's vital that Fiorentina get the win in today's game, which is quite strange because last season they did finish 6th in Serie A. There's 20 clubs in the league. But yeah, let's crack on, ladies and gents. I'm looking forward to this one, a stadium I saw many a time on Gazzetta Football Italia. And if you're not British, you're probably wondering what the hell I'm talking about when it comes to Gazzetta Football Italia. It was an iconic Italian football show in the 1990s that us Brits enjoyed and therefore have a very much a fondness for Calcio Italiano. Right guys, that has to be one of the worst first halves I've ever seen. It was inevitable it was going to be 0-0, but then shock, Verona just went and got that late goal in the first half. I don't really have much to say. Incredibly poor. Last night's game wasn't exactly electric on the pitch. It was very entertaining. There were lots going on, sending offs and stuff, but the only thing that's really happening in this first half is the ref stopping play all the time, giving yellow card after yellow card. And I made friends with some of the voluntary paramedics upstairs, and they speak really good English, and they were telling me what really annoys them about Italian football is how the ref blows his whistle all the time. And we always just presumed it was because Italians naturally dive a little bit more, but the world's changed, hasn't it, since the 80s and the 90s. I think our refs are just as bad, if not worse. Anyway, I'm on the Coke, the Pepsi should I say, because I'm driving. I'm hoping tonight's game in Bologna, the rivals, is going to be a little bit more tasty, but who knows, the second half could be interesting. It's a weird one. The stadiums obviously have the stereotype of being run down and need a lot of TLC, but it looks like work is very much underway on what would have been Fiorentina's end. It would have been the former curve, however you want to say it, is next to where we are, but it's unfortunate because all the atmosphere is over the other way. And I mean guys, things that you don't see in England, these perspex fences over here separating the ultras section over here. Obviously you got a glass barrier down there, you got people communicating through the glass. Just don't get this setting in any English football stadium. You don't even get this. I don't know, you do get this in Germany, but it is a little bit different. It is very, very old school. And I will stop slagging off your stadiums, Italy, I promise. a bloody goal. It's 1-1. The fans have been really, really behind the team. I can feel this going Fiorentina's way now. It's got 2-1 written all over it. It was getting a little bit toxic after half-time. 9 moments. Hang on, 1 minute. It's gone to VAR. It's gone to VAR. Has he given it? Oh my God. I clearly know nothing about football. I do not know ball. Fiorentina 0. Hellas Verona 1. Oh my God, it is 1-1. It is 1-1 and they have a free kick. This is going to be 2-1. 2-1 written all over it. Square it and it would have been 2-1. The crowd, the fans are pissed. Very, very pissed off. Right guys, they did have 2-1 written all over it, but unfortunately 2-1 for bloody Verona. So the English curse is definitely here. 2 games down, both home teams have lost, and now the 3rd game of the trip, Bologna will play Juventus, the Italian giants, so maybe this could be 3 losses in a row. Let's go and find out.